Good evening, good evening, good evening. Come into the Jaye Spot, replacing your G Spot every Thursday from 6 to 7, giving you real relationship talk, real relationship drama with the best night of your life. Your host, Jay and Simply E, hold on, get ready to enter the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the best night of your life. Woo! You have entered the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families one conversation at a time on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartStation. I'm your host, Jay. Wait a minute, and sitting right next to me, red hot, flaming.
Y'all should see this
flaming
like little
brunette.
one-piece thing she has on. It's killing me.
She got a man. You know what? With the nasty girls, girl suit on. Hey, sir, do you know she out here with this outfit on? But okay, I'm a trick on her later.
Hey, boo.
But it's my co-host, my partner in crime, Simply E. Hey, E.
Hey, boo thing.
I mean, you all jazzed up, so that's what it is. All right.
Shantae got a man. E got a man.
All right. Well, don't claim Shantae. Well, okay. With Shantae. Well, sitting next to Simply E, we have my other co-host, my other partner in crime, Pretty Precious Bonner. Hey, Precious.
Hey, Jay.
How are you?
I am outstanding.
Good. I missed you last week.
I know. I missed you too. I'd have rather been here than where I was.
Yes. I'm like, oh my goodness. But us three, the three of us, see, there's no Alvin, so I'm going to go ahead and speak bad English. We are affectionately known as Three the Hard Way. And since Alvin is not here to keep us in control, there's no telling what we're going to say tonight. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Please go to our page and like our page at the Jaye Spot. Also follow us on Twitter at Jaye Spot, and also follow us on Instagram at the Jaye Spot Radio. And Jay is spelled Jaye for all three. This episode of the Jaye Spot is brought to you by Tate's Grant Writing Services. Please contact Lakeisha Tate. She's on Facebook at Grants Tate Writing Specialist. She specializes in writing grants and business proposals. So please contact her for your grant writing and sponsorship and proposal needs. Again, that's Grants Tate's Writing Specialist. Thank you so much. Man, last week, okay. Last week we talked about the sexual hall pass and can it prevent affairs? So first of all, let's just go into briefly what is a sexual hall pass. According to an online source, a sexual hall pass is the permission given by the spouse or mate to have sexual relations with another person outside of the marriage or relationship. So, Precious, since you were not here,
I ain't got time. I ain't going.
Precious, come on, you ain't gonna let
have
me
you ever issued a sexual hall pass?
Precious,
Would you ever issue it?
No.
Precious,
why?
Because if I give you one, then I get one.
You
And
both
trust
get
me,
one.
It's
You
a
both
wrap.
get
You don't
one.
want this to be shared.
You don't want this to be. You both get one.
To share. I'm gonna just put it like that. We're gonna let that be, and we're gonna say that because you're gonna cry thinking about what I'm gonna do.
Hallelujah.
I'm just saying, if I'm gonna get to be nasty, I'm gonna be all the way nasty.
Freak nasty.
Now, as our guest said last week, there were extreme circumstances in which some people may actually consider giving sexual hall passes, and one of the things that came up was health issues.
No.
Where you were no longer able to perform for your spouse or your mate. So they gave you the permission.
No.
So if it was something wrong with you, right? Well, no.
So you're gonna throw away the whole dude because he can't do it anymore?
It's temporary. It's temporary. And he's a great guy.
So that means I get a hall pass then.
And he'll say, that's what happened with our
hall pass.
Yeah, something his monkey ain't getting there. It's not rising to the occasion because of health, issues.
you know.
So let me say this. I am selfish. I can have a hall pass. You can't. There's never an excuse for
So
you.
if your monkey was like dry as the Sahara due to
you better buy some
medicational
lube.
issues,
We're going to work it out.
and it's going to hurt you though. Like I had a friend.
I'm going to get a shot of morphine. We're going to work it out. You're going to get some head. I'm not going.
You're not going to, you know, just let him go ahead and, you know.
No, you better go in the bathroom and rub it out. I'm going to buy you some
rub it out. He's trying to rub it out, but it's just, you know.
You better buy you a whole new girl in process because I ain't going.
Don't be like that.
Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am.
just come with me on this journey, Precious. Just hypothetically, if you were to ever issue a hall pass, what type of rules would you stipulate for that?
If 5 feet, no pressure, just look. We'll go to the strip club together. That's as much as you can get. You can't touch. She can't touch you. What's the point?
Now, what about you, E? What type of rules, if you were to hypothetically speak?
Okay.
Because you saw the way she looked at me.
Okay, I will. You know what? I'll give it. Hypothetically speaking, there is no oral sex. There's no oral sex. There's no kissing. If I give you the hall pass, you can go ahead and do the things that I know I'm not going to do. You can let her hit. You can hit her in the booty, knock yourself on out, ride it till you can't ride that butt. She ain't getting this big.
Here's the thing. Like I would rather you get head by somebody else than to
no.
What? Like that doesn't.
Because if your head game her head game is better than your head game, you trust and believe he gonna go back to get some more head game.
Well, see, here's the thing. I know that JJ ain't better than this one, so I ain't got to worry about that.
Don't be like that, because everybody said they got the bomb on some monkey.
And so, and with that being said, so does that really keep a person like in a relationship?
No.
Does bomb sex, bomb head, bomb fellatio, cunningly, you know, the horizontal mambo, does any of that really keep a person that does not want to be kept?
Oh no, they don't want to be kept. No. Trust and believe, because I've experienced some bomb. Oh my Jesus, some bomb. And if it's just, I'm not feeling you, just not. The winky was delish.
But everything, you know what? This is so funny because I was having this conversation with somebody else, and the best sex I've ever had in my life was somebody that I would not even go to a dark movie at midnight with.
Oh no!
Yeah, like he I've ever had, but I couldn't.
Ugly?
Girl, he was ugly. He was small and he was short. And on top of that, no.
If when you turn off the lights and y'all get in the bed, y'all the same height.
No,
he's
we not.
tall.
No, we
don't
not.
fall for it.
He's
No, we not.
handsome.
No, we not. Like we can't be laid back and you're in me and your head only go to my boobs.
That's perfect because he's already there. When
I like kissing. I like neck biting. You gotta be able to.
He gotta get out and go up a little bit. Go back, reposition. You gotta reposition.
Well, I say with issuing the sexual hall passes, if that's something that couples are into.
Hypothetically, you always try to do this.
She ain't going.
So hypothetically speaking, you know what would be the rules?
You know what, the way my physician, my doctor, my psychologist done already told me stay out of situations that I
no. So you gonna throw it at us? No, you got to answer.
If hypothetically speaking, if it was something wrong with me, because I'm still selfish. Okay, but yeah, I would. Yeah, I would do everything in my power to just make sure that they don't enjoy it. Like, so if I have to spray the bed with like cold water or something like that, I'm just gonna make sure that they don't enjoy it.
Would you sit there and watch it to make sure he wasn't enjoying it?
He had the stuff set up where like the bed just fall flat and they trying to figure out what's going on.
While you playing, I done broke a bed before and that's not fun.
Right. See, so that's the stuff that I would do, petty stuff like that, even though I said you can go ahead and do it. But I know that I acknowledge my petty side and like I'm okay with that. So certain things that will take me to that level, I do my best to try to avoid it because I already know that like I don't like to share. I don't like being number two. And furthermore, the biggest thing is if you want to do it, you want to take a sexual hall pass, then we're gonna both take this sexual hall pass because I'm not gonna be the only one sitting up here with hurt feelings and looking crazy.
Here's the thing though, you can't, like, for me, I know I'm selfish. I know this about myself. So if it don't work, you finna get some head, we gonna rub it out, we gonna work it. Because at the end of the day, you not finna be with nobody else. And if you feel you need to, I don't care. Man, you don't need to be together.
And
like,
see, but the crazy thing
I don't
is,
care.
though, people are really going through this, like people that have cancer and they're going through chemo and things like that. A lot of people just really legit don't have the energy and just are not up to it. So it's like, if this was even on the table, like, consider this, if this is your spouse.
Some
and
people
they get
can
to the
handle
point
that, like swingers, like some people truly can handle it. I just happen to not be one of them.
I mean, I'll swing from the chandeliers. Even if you can,
Look,
if they can hold me up.
Crew thing and like all of that.
I'll
we can
swing.
back
We
and
can get
forth,
a. We
like,
can get a
but
swing.
you're
all of
everyday,
that.
but
We
you're
can do it
everyday
live.
person that, you know, may not be into swinging, and so happen that circumstances have put them in this position where they are no longer able to sexually please their spouse or their mate. What do they do?
Just use your imagination.
Or like somebody that's in a wheelchair. I don't know the proper term, so I don't want to go see it. Yeah, okay, we could do that. Paraplegic, and they're no longer able to perform.
See, E likes small winky, so she could do it with a small winky, a soft winky to hold.
No,
So I'm gonna need you to marry
if
you and E because she got
would
you.
have saw my Petty Couch Chronicle about the soft winky, and for some reason his actually was erect, but it was just soft. That's the bad thing about it. How you soft and erect, and then you made it to the finish line, and then you get mad because I tell you that.
So in other words, we're going right into our topic for tonight.
Emasculate
is
behind.
that considered emasculating?
No, that's considered telling him the truth about his soft, pathetic little winky. I hope you watching, because it's terrible. I hope you watch. And you 31 with a soft, pathetic. Please watch. Tune in.
No.
You back on the Petty Couch
Well,
tomorrow.
if you are in this situation due to health reasons and things like that, definitely consult your physician and talk to somebody before you go bringing another person into your bedroom, especially if you're married, because I just personally believe that an outside person can't fix something that's between you and I. So even if something happens to him, you know, and he wasn't in that situation when we got together, if I chose to marry you, it's to death do us part, through thick and thin, all that other stuff. Unless now I did have a condition. If you were living foul before some bad happened to you, and some bad happened to you, and you think that I'm gonna sit there and fix you up, y'all gonna have to put me on the altar. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna take a short musical break. And when we come back tonight, you guys, we're talking about male bashing and emasculating men. Have women gone too far? Are we going too far? Do we talk too much? Do we just need to fall back and just keep a lid on it? We're going to talk about that next. When we come back, you're listening to the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families, one conversation at a time, on IntellectualRadio.com and on our station.
Girl, you gotta wake up, 'cause you know you ain't supposed to be here. Gotta wake up, 'cause if she finds you, I can't explain it. I put you in a bad situation, but in her eyes it won't look that way. So you just gotta go now. I know I just let you down. I've been doing wrong for too damn long. That I lost track of time. I didn't know when I knew what I was doing. I knew what Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone, baby, please. I didn't mean to lead you on, but I gotta tell you, please be gone. So dangerous, 'cause I know that she would go crazy. It's so dangerous. If she catches going half on the baby, she won't understand how hard it we for just one that's from from your head, girl. Now you're standing here naked while my leg keeps shaking. 'Cause I don't want you to go. That I lost the track of time. I knew what I was doing. Cause girl, you blew my mind. Yeah. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone. I didn't mean to lead you on. But I gotta tell you, please be gone. I don't want you to go, baby. Don't leave. But you're not supposed to be here. I just want you to know, baby. So let me make it clear. Girl, I've never done this before. In fact, you are the only one. I know you think it's on purpose, but it's not, girl. You're just worth it. I've been doing wrong for too damn long. That I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin. I knew what I was doing. Girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. I didn't mean to leave you alone. But I want to tell you, please be gone. I've been going wrong for too damn long. That I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin. I knew what I was doing. 'Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone. I didn't mean to lead you on. But I gotta tell you, please be gone.
Welcome back to the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families, one conversation at a time, on IntellectualRadio.com and iHeartStation. I'm your host, Jay, and sitting next to me, we have my co-host, my partner in crime, Simply E. Hey, E.
Oh, hey, baby.
And sitting next to Simply E, we have my other co-host, my other partner in crime, Pretty Precious Bonner. Hey, Precious.
Hey, Jay.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. Now, you all, before we went to the break, we got a chance to get some things off our chest. Now we're going to come back and wheel it in because we have some very special guests in the building with us tonight. We have Public Announcement in the building with us. We have Glenn. How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to join us on the Jaye Spot. We thank you so much. If you want to pull that mic up, Ace, so that we can definitely hear you. So first, tell everybody about your current project. What you got going on?
Oh, okay. Well, right now we just finished the project in the self-titled Public Announcement. We're still moving around. We're touring every weekend, going out doing shows and back and forth overseas. But we're still in it. We're just still, trying to make good music. We're trying to bring the R&B feel back to, what it is. Since all this radio, all this hip hop stuff has taken over the radio stations, we really just trying to bring real music back. That's what Public Announcement is doing.
Right. And so how has that affected real R&B and real music? Because like you said, with the influx of all the hard gangster rap, all that other stuff, how has that affected you all and the music that you write? How do you stay focused?
Well, it's easy to stay focused when you're true to what it is that you're doing. It's easy to stay focused for us, but for the masses or for the general public, you kind of sidetracked because you're basically being force-fed something that you might not like, and after listening to it or being inundated, 1,000 times a day through the commercials and everything else, your mind kind of does a shift. And instead of listening for, how you say, the lyrics or something good or something wholesome, now you're just kind of bobbing your head, nonchalantly, and you find yourself possibly even onto some things that you don't even agree to.
Yeah.
I mean, even back in the day when you had NWA and things like that, at least you knew what they were saying. You know, you either were with it or you weren't. Now, the message is so skewed. You don't know what it is. It sounds kind of catchy. You don't, you know, so, and again, it's an art form. I mean, obviously, everything changes. It's an art form, and it has its place. But to try to replace something or to be the main focus of something, that's kind of where, you know, I kind of draw the line personally.
So how can people pick up a copy of the track that we just played, which is entitled Wrong? How can they pick a copy of that up?
Well, you can pick up the Wrong track. You can buy that online right now, actually. You can go to iTunes, Spotify, Google Store, Android, any online retailer. You can go ahead and get that now. And really soon here in the next, I think 60 days or so, you'll actually be able to pick up a physical copy as well. So just be on the lookout for that. But right now, you can definitely go to your online retailers and purchase that.
So now how can we see you all live? I know you guys have a couple of dates coming up. How can we see you live? Where are you going to be within the next few weeks?
Well, locally, we have a couple shows coming up locally. We'll be here actually tomorrow. We're performing for a breast cancer awareness before this month is out at the La Sierra Banquet Hall. It's out in Aurora, Illinois. And then next month in Rockford, Illinois, we'll be performing on a show with Do or Die at the Tabala Event Center up in Rockford. And then I believe in early December, we're back here again. And these are just the local shows. We're back here again in Gary, Indiana, at the Genesis Convention Center.
Hey, Gary.
And it's we'll be performing. I believe it's what it's called. Girl, what's the name of the? Well, you can check us out on the
Right, and we'll have it. We'll definitely have it posted on our page as well. What I wanted to know is being a part of a group. As we'll go back to the influx of all the hip hop and everybody wants the spotlight. How do you all stay together as a group?
Well, I mean, first of all, we are all family oriented. We've been raised within morals and values, and we know what it is to have brotherhood. So, and then another thing, we just praise each other for what each other does in the group. Everybody has their role. So long as you do your job in your role, that keeps the machine working. And at the same time, we are all God-fearing men. We love the Lord. So that's another thing that keeps us focused and keeps us together.
Okay, so my next question, I guess this will not pertain to you all, but I'm asking anyway. Who has the biggest ego? Who has the biggest ego that you would say? Because I mean, let's face it, let's just be real. You all are handsome. So I mean, I know stuff like that has to, you know, go to your head. So who does it affect the most?
One of the missing ones said.
They can't defend themselves, so you might as well throw it on that person.
Let's talk about them. You know,
I'm not sure. I think we kind of leave that one open for interpretation.
Okay, or is it an equal?
I think we might all be equal.
Yeah, because we all have an.
We react the same.
Yeah. We
Yeah,
all have an
same.
ego to some extent.
Right.
That's how y'all know y'all love one another, because they defending one, they just lying.
So now listen, if you could go back and tell your younger self a word of advice, what would that advice be?
My younger self.
If you could go back, especially being in this industry, what would you tell your younger self?
Keep it close.
Keep it going. Freak them all, freak all you can. Don't freak that much. You know, I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, is that where we at with that? Like,
no, I'm just trying to help you because y'all kind of pause. So I was just,
if I had to go back and tell my younger self something, it would be to stay more focused on the business sooner than later. Obviously, when you first get into doing this, everything is kind of new for you, so it's easy to get sidetracked. So probably just to kind of stay focused more often than not to lose sight of why you're doing this. You know, you do this because of the love of the music and how it makes other people feel and how it makes you feel, you know, for the love of the music.
okay. No,
I ditto that.
you did all that.
Uh-huh.
What word of advice would you give to someone that is an R&B singer looking to break into this industry in this date in 2017? Because obviously the game has totally changed since you all first entered the arena. What word of advice would you give them?
Well, I would tell them to continue. Don't stop. stick with what you believe in. You know, I mean, I don't know if that can be, you know, different gods that people serve. I mean, first of all, I want to say that though, you know, believe in God and trust in the Lord, whatever Lord you serve. You know what I'm saying? And the second thing would be to don't stop working, just continue, keep doing what you're doing. If you love it, you're going to continue to do it, and then, you know, what you put into it, of course you'll get what's coming out of it.
All right, well, I want to thank you all so much. Again, this is public announcement, you all.
Hey.
I don't know if you want to do like a little acapella, you want to bless us with some live vocals, you can if you want to. We're going to take a short musical break, and I'll let you all decide if you want to do that. But you are listening to the Jaye Spot on IntellectualRadio.com. We are an iHeart station. This is wrong by public announcement.
Girl, you gotta wake up, 'cause you know you ain't supposed to be here. Gotta wake up, 'cause if she finds you, I can't explain it. I put you in a bad situation, but in her eyes it won't look that way. So you just gotta go now. I know I just let you down. I've been doing wrong for too damn long. So long that I lost track of time. I didn't move and I knew what I was doing. Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone, baby, please. I didn't mean to lead you wrong, but I gotta tell you, please be gone. So dangerous, 'cause I know that she would go crazy. It's so dangerous. If she catches going half on the baby, she won't understand how hard it we from just one look from your hand, girl. Now you're standing here naked while my leg keeps shaking, 'cause I don't want you to go. I've been going wrong for too damn long that I lost the track of time. I knew what I was doing. Cause girl, you blew my mind. Yeah. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone. I didn't mean to lead you on. But I gotta tell you, please be gone. I don't want you to go, baby. Don't leave. But you're not supposed to be here. I just want you to know, baby. So let me make it clear. Girl,
welcome back to the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families one conversation at a time on IntellectualRadio.com. We are an iHeart station. You were listening to the song Wrong by Public Announcement. I want to thank you all so much again for joining us. Ace and Glenn, thank you so much. Let's dive right in. We're talking about emasculating men and male bashing. Have women gone too far? What does it mean to emasculate? According to an online source, emasculate means to deprive a man of his male role or identity.
How you gonna laugh while you read that?
I don't know, because that's because you whining and stuff. You talking about she deprived anybody.
So now, with that being the definition, what are some ways in which men are emasculated? Let me start with you, Glenn. What are some ways you believe that men are emasculated?
I think that women, you know, like if you're just meeting someone and you're trying to figure the person out, I think that women use certain words and certain things to challenge the man's intelligence, to see if if he's smart enough, or he do, oh no, girl, he ain't been to school. He sound like he ain't been to school, and by using different words to see if he can understand these type of things or whatever. That's one way.
Okay. What about you, Ace? What are some ways in which men are emasculated?
Well, just in kind of seeing what's going on in our people of color and our culture, it seems that, you know, as women thrive, as women grow in their roles in society, they've adopted sort of a subculture of dominance through education. And it's not to say that there's something wrong with that. That's a beautiful thing when you have an educated woman, but she's educated in such a way that a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, she thinks that she doesn't need a black man, or she doesn't need a man at all. And again, it's not every woman. But that's one of the main reasons, from my perspective, of why you start to see more and more men being emasculated, because they're having that traditional role taken away. And why you don't see this in other cultures, again, to my perception, is because they have a better understanding. Their men have been there, whereas in our culture, it's like the men, they haven't been there. And as they try to become more and more present, it's almost like a brand new role when it shouldn't be.
Okay. What do you all think as far as what he just said, some of the things and some of the ways that men are emasculated, as far as especially with the educated Miss Independent?
I think
to call her.
I think that usually men emasculate themselves. I feel like, for me, I feel like women can bash men, but I don't feel like anyone can emasculate you. I feel like if you were raised a certain way and you have a certain level of confidence within yourself, you do like I do. Oh, you stupid. You don't know no better, and keep it pushing. You don't let that affect how you feel about you. To be emasculated means that you're affected, you know, within how you believe in or how you think of yourself. Oh, you're highly educated. Good job. Okay, go cook. Like, at the end of the day, if you feel a certain way about yourself, it don't matter what that woman can say or do it's not going to affect you. Now, she can bash you and make you be like, I need a new one. Then you trade in, get a new one.
I agree.
Now, according to an online source, here are some ways in which women emasculate men. At him. Mm-hmm. Telling him he's not man enough. Bragging about another man's accomplishments. Downplaying his achievements. And telling him that you've seen bigger. I don't know about that.
That's just being honest.
That's just being honest with the last one. If it's soft and little.
Why is she saying that, though?
I don't know.
Maybe here's the thing, though.
I had a horrible experience. So you shouldn't take that as being emasculated, especially if someone is coming to you as a friend and says, we need to talk. Something is wrong with your penis. It is soft, and you came 2 times with it being soft.
So now let me ask the ladies. Now,
you gave him 2 tries.
How many ladies are guilty of at least one of these acts? I know, like, you may not be guilty of all of them. And Facebook, I want to hear from you. How many ladies are guilty at least of at least one of these acts, as far as yelling at him, telling him he's not man enough, so on and so forth?
I've never heard that.
I've never told a man.
I've never
heard that a day in my life.
I've told him about I never said about the size, because, you know, I was
yelling at him. Just one of them. Pick one, right? Just okay.
I yelled back. Yes.
No, I don't yell, because I know me, and I feel like if I have to raise my voice at you, you're stupid, and then we don't need to talk.
So, have you ever emasculated a man, to your knowledge?
Probably.
I have emasculated a man, but if you've gotten me to go to that point, and you've met Ed now, because it's 2 separate sides of me. You can have Edra, which is the sweetheart, but then when you have pissed me off, you have gotten to know Ed, and Ed will talk about you to your face, and I don't care. I'm gonna talk about your mama to your face, and I don't really care. I'm gonna talk about whoever is important to you to your face, and I'm gonna tell you how weak your sex game is.
See,
or I'm gonna tell you
that
I had one dude that we dated, and then he was like, when he reached Ed, which he done pissed me off, so he reached Ed. I said, you know what? I want to have sex. He was like, well, I just want to hold you. I want to have sex. He's like, well, no, I want to hold you. I said, you know what? Bet. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get me some, and I'll come back. He was like, are you serious? I said, yes, I am. You stay right here. I'll be back. No. Okay, fine. Let's do it.
So now, have any of
What
you
kind of man is that?
Right,
It
I was just
happens.
about to
Single
ask
now.
you
He was
guys.
very
It
single.
happens.
Have any one of you ever been emasculated, or have you ever witnessed one of your guys being emasculated?
I just have to agree with what Precious said. First off, when we were talking before, I was strictly speaking the definition,
Mhm.
but I do agree with you to the point where a man, he would have to allow himself to feel
I agree.
that way.
Never
Yelling at him
happened
and
to me.
things like
Right.
that.
It's never happened
Lynn,
to
I
me.
would never yell at you. I would just be like, you know,
Mr.
just,
Leon
or
has been
a,
emasculated.
Oh
you
my
know
gosh.
what, Alvin? What about you? Have you ever witnessed that, or have you ever been emasculated, or a woman attempted to emasculate you?
Yes to all three.
Okay, really?
It's in my younger years. I think it would be impossible to happen now just because of the way I think and the things that I understand. But as a young man, just getting my footing in these things called relationships, sometimes you want to be a pleaser. Sometimes you want to be better and you try to take the constructive criticism if you're accepting it as that. Sometimes you don't know what love is and you're fighting to stay inside of a situation. It just depends on what it is. You're still learning. It's a good opportunity to learn. So going through it is not necessarily a bad thing if you're going to take away from it. But if it's something you repetitively keep putting yourself into, then, there's issues you have to deal with in yourself. You might need to seek counsel.
The thing that you said is that basically what you were saying is you take that as criticism, as constructive criticism, and that's not that, because constructive criticism is always delivered in a way that helps you grow. Right? There's a difference between being open to constructive criticism. Some people just aren't open, so everything is, oh, you're bashing me, you're emasculating me. You know what? You sensitive.
That's a weak, insecure person. The fact that he has to say that, it tells you who he is as a person and where he's at.
Now let me ask this: do women really respect men and their roles as being the head?
Wait, hold on. Repeat that.
Do women really respect men and their roles as being the head?
Some do, some don't.
If they deserve it. It's that simple.
That's one of those things where it comes down to who you are as an individual and a person. Because, and again, and I think I've told you about this, I've sitting on a panel where women got the opportunity to ask like 10 to 20 men all the questions they wanted to get understanding from a man. And the question came around about being submissive. And then this big uproar back and forth between men and women happened. And I sat there so confused. And when the panel came towards me, and I told them, I was like, I don't understand any of this. I've never in my life been in a situation where a woman has not submitted to me. It's just the natural order of things. I don't mean in the space of, okay, I'm gonna kiss your feet and I'm gonna bow to you and things like that. It's just the natural order of God, man, and woman. And people just sit in their natural space. And there doesn't even have to be a discussion about it if you are who you are.
Now, if a woman curses a man out, is that considered emasculating him, whether it's just cause or just because she just dealing with some imbalances?
But that's her pain.
I don't think she's just angry.
That's her pain.
Well,
That's not emasculating. That's not emasculating a man.
That's her pain. Now, what he does, what happened, what transpires after that is where is this happening or not? Because you curse me out all day long, I'm sitting there look at you like you crazy. And if you're sexy, I mean, you want to do something for something? You need something? Use a service call? What's the problem?
Have you ever cursed a man out?
Yes. But I've cursed the man out in retaliation. I usually would sit there and just be like, okay, I don't like to argue and stuff. Let's just call it a day. We won't have to raise our voices or whatever. But to keep on being nitpicked at by a person that says that they love you and stuff, after a while you get tired of all that madness and you do go and you curse them out. The result of being emasculated from a woman to a man, I'm not going to say it's only. Some women do it because they're tired of the abuse that they did from their man.
Okay.
Would you curse a man out today?
Did I curse a man out today?
Would you curse a man out today?
If you go there with me, yes, I will.
What does going there with you consist of?
Oh, we got a phone call.
Have you ever cursed somebody out, a man out, Precious?
I actually have not. I've cursed out a boy, which is a difference. But I have not cursed out a man.
Was he over 18?
I don't know. I don't care either. I mean, seriously, I don't. I feel like if I have to curse at you, then you stupid. And y'all know I'm the first person to be like, you stupid, and walk away. I carry. I ain't got time for all that.
Okay.
Yeah, like I don't.
Back.
I carry. Man, look, the way my attention span and my temper is set up, I don't got time to be arguing with you. I'm divorced. Y'all know how I am. Y'all done heard some of the conversations that, we've had going through our situation. I never one time raised my voice at him. I never one time cursed him out.
So what do you all think causes women to strive to emasculate a man?
The man.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Wait, repeat that. Repeat that because
the man. I just think it's the man because a lot of times, I mean, we're in situations that we do things to make a woman react, so to speak. I mean, every woman in relationship that I've ever been in, anything that ever happened as far as emasculating came from something that I did. I've never been in a relationship that it was the woman's fault of whatever the situation was. It's usually the man.
Hold on 1 second.
Hold on, honey.
It's usually the man that messes up and makes the woman emasculate him.
Okay, we have a caller. This is the Jaye Spot. Who am I speaking with?
Caller, you're live.
Hey, good evening. How y'all doing?
All right.
Great, how are you?
Tyson.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
It's kind of loud where I'm at, so I hope you can hear me all right.
Hey, Tyson.
Go ahead, Tyson.
Okay, listen. Just a quick reflection. My dad came from Tennessee, and he wasn't learning. He wasn't illiterate, but he wasn't learning. He came from Tennessee, moved to Chicago, met my mom, and they came forward, and my mom helped him along, helped him read, spell, all that. He got his college education and go forward. While he was doing that, my mom worked as a nurse, but she still, held him down, and then she had his sons, both my brother and myself, helped him along, and then he worked for the IRS for a while. He broke off and started his own business, his own account business, to which my mother left nursing, looked at guys and going, and worked with my dad to help facilitate not only the family, but this account business, which still thrives today, which we took over. My point is, there used to be a situation where, and this I can't speak because I'm African American and Black. I can't speak outside my ethnicity. But there used to be a thing where we worked in unity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at memes on a constant push through our social network, there was an agenda. There was a solid agenda to decimate the Black family. And it starts with the degradation, the demeaning, and what's the topic been, the emasculation of the Black man. There's a commercial that plays often. It's a car dealership. There's a wife and 2 kids. And he gets a great deal. I think it's CarMax. He gets a great deal. And he says, oh my God, this is the greatest day of my life. And then it flashes to the wife and the 2 kids, and they're looking at him like he's the dumbest guy in the world, and he got excited about the scene. It is these images, and stuff like love and hip hop and all that stuff, which help try to supplant the Black male in his position in the Black family. Now, is this to say it's the consistent Black woman is conservative? Not at all. Not in one instance.
So Tyson, so in your opinion, what can we do to kind of redirect that type of negative energy and redirect it towards what your mom and your father had? Or do you think that's dead? I mean, do you think the family, especially the Black family, can that be repaired?
It definitely can be. There's certain things we have to do. And you sisters aren't going to like this either in the thing or those of you listen, you're not going to like this. It starts with you. The behavior that you don't, and I can't say the word of what it is, but F-boyism, y'all know what that means.
Right.
A lot of y'all have tolerated that and let that go. Oh, I can change him. Oh, he's not that bad. No, he's rotten. He's rotten for you. He's going to do you bad. He means you no good. Whereas there are many aggressive gentlemen who are good, and they would treat you, respect you like you're supposed to.
Right.
It starts with you. Once you let an aggressive gentleman or someone who is a true monarch, a true king, into your castle, then we can begin to have a kingdom again.
I totally agree.
Absolutely.
Well, Tyson, I thank you so much. Tyson, we got to let you go because we had to finish this segment up. But I thank you so much for calling and dropping some knowledge. We really appreciate it, Tyson. Thank you so much. So now with that, it brings me to male bashing. Why do you guys think some women male bash? Is that out of anger or is it something else going on?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. It is out of anger a majority of the time. And that anger could be coming from a multitude of places, but usually it's through a misunderstanding of some sort. One, maybe she's misunderstanding his intention, or maybe she totally understands his intention and is just totally frustrated with him. Or two, that misunderstanding could be coming from what she's expecting of him. A lot of times in relationships, the relationships go awry due to expectation. You know, what a male may be expecting from a woman and what a woman may be expecting from a male, and not matching up, you know, because, hey, we hit it off sexually, but you got total opposites. You don't match. So the male bashing comes in, you know, through that frustration, angst of not getting what you want out of a person. And you could totally have feelings for this person, but not getting what you want. And a lot of times that hurts more because you think, you see that potential. You think that this can be something if you just do what I say.
I mean, I get it. I think that a lot of the male bashing comes from a lot of different things. A lot of times, especially with African American women, we grow up with African American women and women being done wrong over generation, and all you see is, okay, this man is a dog, he got 3 families and 20,000 kids and all of this other stuff. So you grow up with that mentality of, you know, man ain't ish. That's how you grow up. You know, I think that a huge part of it is, as a woman, you have to accept the fact that, hey, you a beast. With or without a guy, and every guy is not garbage. Every guy is not a dog. But when you continuously accept dogs, you get fleas.
Lynn, you look like you wanted to say something. Do you have something to add? Because I can see it's burning. I need to get Glenn's comment because it's burning. Go ahead, Glenn.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's to me, it's just something that when women do the bashing thing, it's something that the man has done wrong, something that she don't like, something that she's not agreeing with. But see, at the same time, I mean, that's how she's feeling, because love don't hurt. So while you bashing me up like that, I mean, let's talk about it and let's see what it is. Now, if this is something that's happening over and over and over again, then of course that's going to make the woman like come out of character, and you know, her anger is going to be at another level. So she may say things that people say things when they're angry. You know, I think it's just all out of anger when it's a bashing thing, because if we're adults and we love each other, we are supposed to sit down and talk about it in an adult fashion. Not yelling at each other like I'm your kid or you my kid. It shouldn't be any of that when we are adults. That's how adults are supposed to handle situations.
So now, is there a difference between male bashing and then just giving your strong opinion on how you feel about
There is.
men?
I think it's a way of how you say things, how you present what you're saying. You know, because you can say things real aggressive and people can take it a different way if it's said in a nicer way. I'm sorry.
No. I am one of the least aggressive people you will ever meet in your life.
Mm-hmm.
However, that does not mean the words out of my mouth will not cut you to your soul. And in fact, I prefer not to scream and not to holler and not to curse. It actually makes me feel better and makes you feel stupider. And I like that. I'm very condescending and sarcastic in my expression.
Aggression makes him feel stupider?
Passive aggression is still aggression.
Well, here's
Passive
the thing.
aggression is still aggression.
But here's the thing. It's different. There's a difference between being passive aggressive and being sarcastic. Again, I know myself. I refuse to lower myself to the level to where I have to scream at you, to where I have to curse at you. Again, if I have to raise my voice and scream at you, we don't need to talk about nothing. I don't care if you hit my car. I've been in an accident and I've very calmly gotten out of my car and said, you know what? Just give me your stuff. So let's go on. I ain't got time for you. And the other person who was wrong gets out the car. Rah, 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 rah. I find that the person who is overly aggressive is usually the one who's wrong or the one who lacks understanding.
Fair.
I have something to say because this is just working my last little nerve. And I'm reading these comments and stuff in Facebook, you know. And so this one person, I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Hart, Mr. Leon Hart, you sit up here saying, you know, all this stuff that female do this to men and female do this to men. And then you say, have you seen the comments in Facebook about what females say? Brother, have you seen the comments in Facebook about what men say to women? You get mad because we want a man and yeah, we got 3 and 4 kids, but we didn't make three and 4 kids by ourselves. We get tired of you all walking out. You all put the wolves in sheep's clothing, you know, thing with us. Y'all act like y'all innocent. You act like you all sweet. And then when we give ourselves to you and you have E, you have Edra, and I'm giving you Edra, you don't appreciate her. So she comes after you now because you don't appreciate her. So don't get mad because we male bashing, and that's my right to bash your behind.
That's it right there.
Deserved it.
That's it right there. That is why women male bash. That is why you have this stigma going on because of that pain right there.
You get tired
that is
of
it right there. It's not even about tired. It's systematically ingested over time. You've been living with that for a while. There's a person in your mind. It's not even the person that you're talking to. There's a person in your mind that you're thinking of when you say that because of that experience.
You get tired of
you
when
have
you
not
see
really
it over and over and over again, and it's like.
But the thing about it is, that is proof that you have not moved beyond that initial thing.
Because I'm
so
doing
that
it all
pain that
myself.
is living inside of you is going to continuously be regurgitated.
Men bash women just like women bash men. Okay, period.
But it's the same thing.
And that's why I always like to recommend that you talk to somebody professional. I'm a firm believer in talking to somebody professional because it's so much that women go through in relationships and men go through. We're all going through different things.
It's trauma.
And it's like we're not even taking the time to heal from the last ordeal before we go and chop something on top of it, and we're laying together, but we're not even getting a chance to get to know each other. And that's why I always say, you know, let's hold on to before you jump into doing the horizontal mambo. Let's talk. Let's get to know each other so that we can get a feel for who we are. Because
people not allowing themselves to really do that.
Because here's the thing. Because if you honestly do that, you can spot a lot of this stuff in people before you go there and have the bomb sex. Now you got to accept it because the sex is good. But if you put that sex on pause and get to know this person, I promise you it's going to be less, first of all, less baby mama and baby daddy drama because you ain't even going to get to that point.
Yeah. I want to say this really quick. I put up a meme in Grown and Sexy, and it was that, and I put it up all everywhere, but I put it up and it was that men hold on to their bitterness longer than women. And there was a bunch of guys. Hold on, time out. I'm not done. No. It is not equal because here's the thing. Women get messed over repeatedly. A man could get messed over in elementary school. This man will be 42 years old talking about I remember when women all let it go. Men do this.
Women will forgive you.
Women will keep dating. Yeah. And they go from relationship to relationship with this same thing in the back of their heads, but they keep trying. Men will just be like, oh, well, you know, women ain't nothing no matter what. Men will bash everyone. A man will bash every woman he meets because from that point on.
So how can we fix that? How can we, as grown and sexy people,
I know
how we recognize the problem, but now how can we fix that?
How you fix it is honestly, you take a good look at yourself. You really have to look at yourself. If you don't look at yourself and see what you caused in this situation, if you feel that you just are so innocent in this situation, then you really haven't looked at yourself properly. Michael Jackson said it best. Take a look at the man in the mirror. I mean, seriously, you gotta look at yourself. Regardless, you gotta look at yourself. Any relationship that I get into, literally, and even when I was married, I looked at myself to see what problems that we had when we had in our marriage. I looked to see what did I cause in it. It's not always him. It's you too. You caused these issues too because you allowed it or you started it. Both he may start
Absolutely.
something, she may start something, and he may allow some madness, and she will allow some madness.
So in
If
order
I-
for us, go ahead.
If I can interject for just one second,
Go ahead.
I just want to bring some type of ground into it. I went to church and I went to my marriage group at my church, and I talked to the counselor that, you know, he kind of gives speeches and things like that. He talked about a certain type of personality that you should, you know, cleave to when you're in a relationship or a marriage. One of giving, one of servitude to one another, you know, and when you place yourself in that, or a servant role instead of I'm the man or I'm the woman or I'm the boss, then you look more to help. Like you said,
need to help me.
Exactly. You start to reflect more. What can I do to make this situation better instead of what you can do to make this situation?
Right.
What can I do to make
Exactly.
this situation better? Your ears start to listen more. You listen to hear, not listen to speak.
That's right.
More when you put yourself in a servant role to one another. And I believe that could be the beginning of, you know, turning the page on a lot of this frustration and hurt that we have. You know, when we start taking a look at ourselves first and then work on those issues that we have within ourselves, learn to compartmentalize the hurts that we had to deal with before, peel back those layers. If women coming into a relationship and you got all these walls built up, whether it be from your father,
Or
previous
whatever.
relationships, or whatever it is, learn to still have a door, not just a wall.
Absolutely.
If you can open that door just a little bit, just to see, you see it's a good guy right there. And it's
Exactly.
okay to meet him right there at the wall, you know, and then eventually he can work his way inside. You know, but he shouldn't have to be trying to beat
Bash
down
down the
bricks
road,
all
yeah.
the time, and she shouldn't have to be afraid to open the door all the time.
But see,
Absolutely.
you know, that goes to say, you know, you have to really, like I said, you got to look at yourself, and then to know that I'm not her. I'm not the lady from your past relationship. Even when we come to sexual things and you start to compare me to her sexually, she did it like this. I'm not her. And then you're not him. You're not the guy from my past. And I'm not going to get into a relationship, any new relationship that I get into. I don't never compare my new guy to my old guy, period. Even if the old guy sex game was better, whatever, if he treated me a certain way, I'm going to compare when it comes to treating what, but I'm not going to throw it in your face and eat at your ego and just destroy you. No, you just don't do that, because if you do that, you're not breaking the cycle of him being broken as a man. You're adding to the cycle of him being a broken man.
And then we're also teaching our children this. So
Yes.
it's like now we have generations and generations of people not knowing how to communicate, not knowing how to love,
Right.
not knowing how to trust, because that's all that they see. So kind of to piggyback on what Tyson was saying, that type of love, that type of support, is that really out there, or are we as people so guarded and we've been so jaded, we've been so done over just on both ends of the spectrum? Do I trust this man enough to, okay, take him and help him build his business and help him get on his feet? When he does that, is he gonna leave me? Her, do I trust her enough to display my weaknesses, to bear myself to this woman? Are we even capable of even getting back to that place?
I think the hardest part is, I would say it's on women, because just as, you know, there's the Miss Independent, there's also the bum female. For men, you have to find that woman that's either in the middle or figure out which one you want. Because some men, I'm gonna be very, very honest with you, some men need to stick with the women on this side, because you can't handle this. And I don't mean when I say handle, I don't mean like, you know, you can't control her. I mean, your lifestyle ain't ready for her lifestyle.
But
You know what I'm
those
saying?
are the men, and because I saw this on Facebook earlier today, and every now and then it pops up. Women keep saying, "Why are guys saying I'm intimidating or I'm overbearing and I'm just naturally being me?" And it's a testament to who that person is and who he sees himself being able to ascertain.
Right.
I had a friend who would not date a woman who was financially sufficient, and it blew my mind. I was like, wait, hold on. She got a condo in Michigan. She got a brand new bed. She making six figures. This is the holy grail. This is what we do this for. What do you mean? And he was like, but I don't know what to do. I'm used to fixing women. So I was like, well, okay, let me get her phone number and you go find somebody you can fix, because I get it.
What's so funny to me though is, and we've had this discussion before, we've all had this discussion. When I go out, I do not get talked to. Keita is a kid you not witness to this. When I go out, I'll meet all the time. I don't care if I got on basketball shorts and some Jordan slippers, or if I have on the dress that I'm finna put on and be super fly, I'm finna go do my hair. But guys will stare at me. I mean, to the point where it gets annoying. Before they'll say something. Now they will talk to everybody with me. This is what blows my mind. And I had to understand that it's nothing wrong with me. It's those guys. Because at the end of the day, again, certain people just should not approach other people.
So now let me ask this. Men, what word of advice would you give to women on how to interact with men? What word of advice? If you could tell, I'm good. If you could give one word of advice, what would you say? What word of advice would you give women?
I would say learn him. I would like learn him, learn what he likes, and learn how he reacts to certain things. And
but how do you get there? How do you get there?
How do you get to learn them?
I think they're as like before you get to the point where you can learn an individual man, like you have to meet him. You have to get you have to get to that point.
But you gotta want to learn him.
First of all, I mean, when you're getting together, you have to establish a friendship.
Yeah.
And that the friendship part is the most important part, because you can date, and you guys can be in a relationship, and at the end of the day, if it didn't work out, you should always result back to friends. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't result back to friends, then you weren't friends at the beginning. Is how I think. So I want to say, befriend the man, and then learn.
Right, but not even only let's not limit it to the relationship aspects, just women in general, our interaction with men. What word of advice would you give if you want to give it on the relationship or just our day-to-day interaction? What would you tell women?
I would say, go ahead.
I would say just to be open. It's easy to be guarded. It's real easy to be guarded. Just take the state of the world, period. It's easy to be guarded. To be open. You know what? It comes a point where you got this thing on your shoulder and you got this thing on this shoulder and you're carrying the weight of the world, whether you're single mom, independent, whatever it is, you're all woman, go ahead, I'm sorry. And when you meet someone of the opposite sex, whether it's to establish a friendship or just to say hi, sometimes you just want to keep that up there. Just let it go. Just let it go. Be yourself. And when in doing that, you leave that door open that I spoke about. You crack it at least to say hi, and it just shows yourself friendly, shows yourself approachable.
Now, what about you, Alvin? What word of advice would you give women?
For me, I always resort back to children. Children, the younger they are, the more honest they are, and the more accepting they are, and of who they are and anyone else around them. They don't walk into a new friend from an old friend saying that, okay, I'm going to treat you a certain way because of how other kids were. You're new. I want to experience this newness. This is exciting. I want to explore this. For whatever it is, I don't even have an expectation of what it should be, but this feels good. And I'm sitting in this present moment enjoying myself, and more people need to.
Okay. Ladies, what word of advice would you give to men?
I'm gonna let E go first.
What? Okay, golly.
Go E.
The word of advice that I would give to men is, like I said before, you can't go to her and then put her in a certain place because you've been hurt by someone else, and you have to let her in. If you have all this pain, like he said, get to know this person, let that person be your friend. If you have all this pain that you have not gotten over with, and only you know you, let's be real, I don't know what you're going through, but you know what you're going through. Be honest with yourself. If you notice you're going through all this pain or whatever, or you see her going through all this pain, don't attempt to go into a relationship with a woman that you know, and she comes to crown you every night or whatever, and she's going through this pain. Don't take her weakness and her pain and use it for your own type of, sexual advantages. Don't do that to her, because all you're doing is breaking her down some more. And then if she produces any children by you, or any children, period, after you, they're going to be broken children, because that's what you've given her.
What about you, Precious?
I don't have no advice.
No advice?
I don't.
Okay,
I know. I will say this. I know me. My attention span is very short. I have very, very solid expectations. And I know me. If you ask me out a certain way, you're getting added to the ignore list. if we're having a conversation going back and I'm serious, I'm dead serious, because here's my thing. I know what I expect. And it's not a matter of me expecting it out of you in particular, or me forcing my ideas from a previous relationship. I know what I expect. I don't open no freaking doors. I'm telling this. So if you call the first thing that you do is when we go out, you don't open the door, I'm already done with you. And I tell people this, certain people can't even buy me a meal. No, there's no potential.
Bigger, I don't turn out on meals.
But see, here's my thing. I don't like people enough to waste my time.
Yeah.
I can go through the drive-thru and feed myself.
So now we have Christy Lancaster saying, everyone is different, so you have to treat each person as the individual they are and not how they treat you, not the way someone else treated you or you treated someone else. So
that's easier said than done, honestly,
Yeah,
because we'll all say that, I'm not judging, I'm not, comparing you to so-and-so, but you do have people who do compare you, and you'll say that yourself, I'm not comparing him, but even when you lay with this person, you compare them to the last one. Are they better than the last one? Are they worse? And then if they're better, you're happy that they're better than your last man, or they're better than your last woman, or whatever. If the last woman didn't cook or the last woman did cook, you compare. Man, she ain't cooking me nothing, but man, old girl used to cook.
If y'all having sex and you comparing in your head right then, y'all doing it wrong. Yeah. If you can think straight while you having sex, you doing it wrong, and don't do it with them again.
I was gonna say it's kind of a combination of what Alvin said and what Precious said. He said that you have to be able to. What did you just say? The previous. Yeah, you have to be present. You have to be in the moment. And what Precious was saying is she has a set of expectations. Expectations are fine. Expectations are definitely fine. She knows herself. She knows what she will and won't accept. And that's the first step to being in a or cultivating a relationship.
A healthy relationship.
Fruitful. That's going to do something. You have to know what you're willing to accept. If you're doing anything else than that, you're leading yourself into what's probably going to be a train wreck. You have to have some sort of expectations, but the key is to put those expectations and make sure that they're realistic.
Yes.
Now, and there's nothing wrong with a man opening the door, this, that, and the other. I think that's simple. That's the easy part.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That's because all men have been, honestly, not all men have been taught to do that.
That's true.
Right.
Exactly.
Those things have left us. Not all men have been taught to be a husband because they don't know how. Not all men have been taught to be a father. You think that just because you push out a child, you should know how because this is your child. And not all women have been taught how to be a mother or a wife.
With that, I think that if we can just pull it in together, if we give me what you want me to give you, treat me how you want me to treat you. And I think that's the start of how we can go back to fixing this thing, because if you want all good, then you gonna give me all good.
Yeah. Right.
And vice versa. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Ace and Glenn. This is public announcement.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. Shout out to Felony. Thank you all so much for joining us. Alvin, Glenn, Ace,
Communication,
Precious,
y'all.
me. Woo! We will have their information posted on our page,
yes.
The Jaye Spot. You have been listening to the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families, one conversation at a time, on IntellectualRadio.com. You got an iHeart station. Y'all can take us out.
Watching, y'all.
They taking us out. Come on, take us out.
Wake up.
Woo!
Cause you know you ain't supposed to be here. Gotta wake up. Cause if she find you, I can't explain it. I put you in a bad situation. But it arrives, it won't look that way. So you just gotta go now. I know I just let you down. I've been doing wrong for too damn long that I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin, I knew what I was doing. Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on, but I gotta tell you, please be gone, baby, please. I didn't mean to lead you on, but I gotta tell you, please be gone. It's so dangerous, cause I know that she would go crazy. It's so dangerous. Catch us going half on a baby. She don't understand how I get weak for just one look from your hand, girl. Now you're standing there naked while my legs keep shaking. 'Cause I don't want you to go. I've been doing wrong for too damn long, that I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin, I knew what I was doing. 'Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. I gotta tell you, please be gone. I didn't mean to lead you on, but I gotta tell you, please be gone. I don't want you to go, baby. Don't leave. But you're not supposed to be here. I just want you to know, baby. So let me make it clear. Girl, I've never done this before. In fact, you are the only one. I know you think it's on purpose, but it's not, girl. You're just worth it. Oh, I've been doing wrong for too damn long. That I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin. I knew what I was doing. Girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. I didn't mean to leave you alone, but I had to tell you, please be gone. I've been going wrong for too damn long, that I lost the track of time. I didn't want to ruin, I knew what I was doing. 'Cause girl, you blew my mind. I didn't mean to lead you on. So I gotta tell you, please be gone. I didn't mean to lead you on, but I gotta tell you, please be gone.